Good evening, welcome to Money Matters, and my name is Anthony Wilson.
And I'm Judy Kanhai. Coming up in this week's program, a PVC manufacturer tells us his struggle to get foreign exchange and how it's affecting his operations. But he's hopeful his company will get Forex now that manufacturers are to be given priority. And a sales representative selling furniture tells us he's selling 75% less. He explains how that is now affecting his standard of living.
But first up, we speak to tourism consultant John Bell about diversification and about the possibility of a Sandals in Tobago. Good evening, Mr. Bell. What is the experience of countries in the Caribbean in using tourism as a source of diversification?
When I first started back in the 1960s, there was general rejection of tourism because it tended to be a question of poor black people serving rich white people, and that it was expatriate controlled. And then during the 1970s, it became a little clearer and easier that hard currency was being generated by it, and that it generated an awful lot of jobs. And by the 1980s, they started to realize that there was also a lot of indirect spin-off in the businesses and the agriculture that was supplying the tourism industry. So it became well accepted.
Right. So in the Caribbean, it's been a case of diversifying out of agriculture into tourism.
Absolutely.
In Trinidad and Tobago, it would be a case of diversifying out of energy into several things, including tourism. What is the learning, what is the theory in terms of countries that have an energy industry diversifying to tourism?
Well, there aren't too many other countries in the Caribbean that have an energy industry. They have in the Middle East, and you only have to look at Emirates and Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Qatar, and they've had a phenomenal job. And I personally met with the Minister of Tourism in Dubai, and he said, you know, we know that in a 10-year period of time, we will have run out of oil and natural gas. And if our people are going to live in any kind of similar way that they do now, we have to find diversification. And they went into insurance, they went into financial services, they went into tourism, very successfully.
So there's a template that we can draw on here in Trinidad and Tobago?
Oh, I think so.
Right. One of the complaints about a tourism industry in Trinidad and Tobago is the quality of service. Do you think you can build a tourist economy or an economy in which tourism is important when there are so many questions about the quality of service?
Yeah, you change it.
Yes.
You change
How
it.
does one do that?
Training, re-education, and remotivation. And I'm sure that we'll be talking about Sandals down the road, but one of the great successes that they have had has been with their internal training programs. And they have been able to deliver a product that is consistent and regular and meets international standards purely because of training.
Yeah. What else do you think are the reasons that Sandals has been so successful throughout this region?
I mean, there are several reasons, but predominant of them to me is marketing and promotion. You know, Butch is one of the most brilliant marketing people that I've ever come across, and he has gone to great lengths to be able to raise the recognition of the Sandals name, and he did it not by going through the trade, through the tour operators, online travel agents, and airlines. He did it by going to the consumer. And his son Adam says that, you know, every 30 seconds somewhere in North America and Europe there's an ad, and you will see, you know, television, you'll see electronically, all different platforms. There is a constant, and it's going to the consumer, and you're driving the consumer into the arms of the trade and through the trade into the properties, and it works extremely well.
Overall, do you think Sandals would be good for Tobago and good for Trinidad and Tobago? And if you do, why do you think that is?
Sandals will be a game changer in Tobago Won't make much difference to Trinidad because it's not here. Nor do I think it's liable to come here, but I could be wrong. In Tobago, it will completely change the way tourism functions. Let me give you an example of Grenada. Before Sandals went in there, they had 3 flights a week out of Miami and none out of New York. Today, they have a daily flight out of Miami, and by June, they'll have a daily flight out of New York on JetBlue. So you've got American Airlines coming out of Miami, and you've got JetBlue coming out of New York. Now, the consequence of that is that you're reaching out to markets and you're providing them with a way to get there. Now, I don't really care how much money you spend on trying to promote Tobago unless you can, in fact, provide them with the market access. And that will be the big difference. It will change.
One of the problems that Tobago has is the airport is simply not fit for purpose.
Absolutely.
And the purpose being lots of international visitors coming through there on a daily basis. Would the upgrade, the long awaited upgrade of the A&R Robinson International Airport in Tobago have to be part of the welcome of Sandals?
Oh, I think it absolutely has to be. I can't see that American Airlines, which is the one which makes the most difference, coming into Tobago out of Miami, I don't think that they would be prepared to do that unless there was a considerable improvement in the airport, in the A&R Robinson Airport.
Yeah. One of the things about the all-inclusive model is the possibility that not enough foreign exchange gets retained by the economy, because the tourist pays one fee to the operator and gets all the services taken care of. Do you think that is a problem for an economy like Trinidad and Tobago in which foreign exchange is a problem? And if it is, how can that be mitigated?
It's not an impossibility. I think that is part of the negotiation that will take place with Neil Wilson's committee in Tobago and with Sandals. I don't know the details of those discussions. I've had absolutely no contact with Neil since he took over the job. But it is all part and parcel about what Sandals wants and what Tobago wants.
Yeah. What do you think Tobago should want?
They should want Sandals.
Yes, but Sandals, and what? Sandals bringing jobs, presumably. Sandals buying agricultural produce from Tobago, buying milk from Tobago.
That's pretty much inevitable. those certain things, you're not going to ship those in. Sandals will be the tide that floats all boats. And with the market recognition that will come with it, that will extend to Tobago as a destination, with the open skies that will bring in additional service from North America as well as Europe, it will make a huge difference. The actual who does what and to whom in the process of the land and the building of it and the tax and duty exemptions is something that I will leave Butch to argue about rather than me.
To what extent do you think the success of Sandals is due to Butch? And if Butch were out of the picture, do you think the model survives?
Butch undoubtedly is Sandals. It could never have happened without Butch Stewart driving the car. If he leaves the business, I think that there is now enough structure behind it. He's got 15,000 employees in the system. They're not all gophers. He's got his son, he's got another son, he's got a number of other people. There's a hierarchy of accomplished training and management which will bring it forward, I think.
Yeah. There was a recent report that out of Reuters that Butch Stewart is looking to sell. One of the options that he's pursuing is the possibility of selling a majority share in Sandals. How do you think that's going to have an impact on Sandals in Tobago?
just as we said, sandals could never have come about without Butch. I would be very surprised if Butch was to do anything that in any way undermined the credibility of sandals as a tourism product. Sandals is Butch, Butch is sandals.
When we come back, Judy speaks with a PVC manufacturer about the availability of foreign exchange. Money Matters will be right back.